Usha Stud, the leading nursery in India, welcomes you. Usha is the only 100% commercial and the most successful stud in India since 4 decades. Already winner of more than 250 Group 1, Usha was founded in 1972 by the legendary Major P.K. Mehra and now run by his daughter Amita Mehra. Usha has 80 mares on 400 acres and 3 stud in Haryana near Delhi. It is the home of the sensational young sire Multidimensional, who produces in March 2014 the Usha breadwinners of both Group 1 of the Indian Turf Invitation Day in Hyderabad, Amelia in the Supermile, or Allender in the Invitation Cup.
I watched him race and I studied his pedigree, and I found there were a lot of interesting nicks with him and Razin. I have a lot of 60 Razin mares, and I found that Multidimensional's pedigree with Dane Hill, Northern Dancer, Danzig, Northern Dancer, and Razin is a direct son of Northern Dancer. There seemed to be a great nick. Also, I have Steinbeck, a second stallion, lots of mares by Steinbeck, who is by Mr. Prospector. And Multidimensional had both blood in his pedigree. He, on the top side, sire side, he has Northern Dancer, and on the bottom side, his fourth dam is a half-sister to Mr. Prospector. So I found that the nick with my fillies was amazing, and he was a beautifully conformed, absolute character of a horse, something that made me feel that he had a lot of presence and that extra special quality. And I think he is the only stallion ever to stand in India that has 8 individual classic winners to his credit in the first season.
Multidimensional was given in training by his breeders, the Nyarcos family, to Sir Henry Cecil. Multidimensional conquered France at 3-year-old in the Prix d'Ornano, a Group 2 on 10 furlong in Deauville.
Multidimensional revient avec Carlotta Mix alors que Sudan est battu à la corde. Le 5, Barasset se défend très bien. 150 mètres du poteau avec Boris de Deauville qui est attaqué par Multidimensional. Kashgai est là avec Barasset qui se défend bien à la corde devant Carlotta Mix. Le passage du poteau avec le 6, Multidimensional qui s'impose.
Then, despite a fracture and an entire year out of the track, he was able to come back to the top level, winning the Rose of Lancaster Stakes, a Group 3 in Haydock.
They run down towards the final furlong. Multidimensional trying to fend off the attentions of Bahia Breeze. Multidimensional just hanging over towards the stand rail. Must be a length and a half clear of Bahia Breeze second. 3 or 4 lengths to Spanish Moon and Flying Clarets. Multidimensional staying on in front of Bahia Breeze. Multidimensional will take the Rose of Lancaster.
Also fourth in the Irish Champion Stakes, less than 2 lengths behind New Approach, Multidimensional proved by his successful comeback that he had a very strong temper and a real fighting spirit, as well as a good turn of foot. Multidimensional was crowned champion Frenchman sire and champion first generation sire. With his first progeny born in 2010, he had winners of 3 Group 1 races in summer, Phillies Trial, Court Trial and Summer Bangalore Derby, with Amelia and Allender. Then he went first and second in the Indian Derby, as well as in the Calcutta Derby, some Oaks and other derbies.
And why is Srinath winning this one from Starry Eyes? After that is Circle of Life.
In mid-January 2014, Snowdrift wins the ever-ready Calcutta Derby, Group 1, beating another son of Multidimensional, Ashiel. 3 weeks later, Allender and Starry Eyes makes the 1-2 in the biggest race in India, the Indian Derby, beating the all-time Bombay record time. The same Allender wins a new Group 1 in March, the famous Invitation Cup run in Hyderabad in 2014.
Charging home, but it's all going to be Allender.
It is a glorious day for Multidimensional. He triumphed with his daughter Amelia, the Phillies Championship Stake winner, in the Major P.K. Mehra Supermile Cup, a race named in the honor of the late father of Amita Mehra, who entered the racing industry in the early 70s.
But Amelia wins the Supermile!
He took 10 lakhs of rupees from a bank and he went to Newmarket to buy 3 mares. He bought his 3 mares, came back, and then subsequently he stabled them in our house, in our compound. We had a big garden like in the old British homes and about 8 or 10 stables. So he stabled them there, and then the following year he took another loan and bought 1 stallion called Grey Gaston. The stallion he bought was by Fortino, and he was a French horse. And Grey Gaston produced the first foal that my father produced bred by himself, called Manitou. Manitou won the Indian Derby by 10 lengths. No horse till date has ever won the Indian Derby by 10 lengths. And that's how my father started the farm. And he went from success to success to success. And from starting in a home, in a small bungalow with large garden and stables, he built the Usha Stud Farms, which is now over 400 acres of land.
Making his career in the army, commandant of the president's bodyguard, Major Pradeep Kumar Mehra was an international polo player, captain of the Indian team. Amita Mehra studied in Ireland at the National Stud course, receiving the gold medal for her theme How to Choose a Stallion, and in the United States at Lexington, Kentucky, especially for the food. Then she led Usha even before the decease of their parents. She started by myrtleized the terrier with Razin, chosen by her when studying abroad, who was the former leading sire in India before multidimensional. Now Usha is a top successful, also 100% commercial.
All my horses are for sale. This is probably the only stud farm in India where everything is for sale, so everybody feels they have a fair chance to buy a top horse from here. We have a very special tradition in Usha. We have a horse darshan, a horse parade. Every day in all the 3 locations of the stud farm, every horse is brought to the pavilion and is shown one by our staff. And I am there, my managers are there, or my vets are there, my farrier is present, the feed man is present. Everybody sits under either a tree or a pavilion, and each horse is brought as a parade. And the horse looks at me, I look at the horse. So this is a practice that in today's age is almost unheard of because people don't have the staff to bring them. But we continue that, and probably we're the only stud farm in the world, I would say, certainly in India, that is doing that.
In order to work generation after generation on the broodmare lines, Usha lease 10 or 15 of his best fillies and bring them back after their racing career in exchange of one of their first 2 produced at 2-year-old to the owner. Most recent example is Moonlight Romance, the only filly in history to have won the 3 classics, Bangalore Derby, Indian Derby and Invitation Cup in a row, here with her first filly by multidimensional. Usha has also top broodmares like Yana, Ambrosia and Fun Fantasy, with a filly by multidimensional. All those 3 mares are by Razin. There is also the imported Daiwa by the US top sire, Elusive Quality. To maintain the highest level of services, Usha employs a large staff of 300 people and produces his own food, including Lucerne and Alfalfa.
When I took over Usha Stud Farm from my father after this terrible tragedy, I found that what really kept me was my meditative practice. And then slowly, as I began to run the stud farm, I began to transfer some of the spiritual and meditative practices onto the way that I ran the stud farm. The traditions of Indian spirituality and the horse are synthesized and welded together in a way to transform the kind of horse we produce and to transform our farm.